Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Wine with Shagit. This is the place where I will be in conversation with people from the wine industry, people who are winemakers, viticulturists, owners, or who play a very major role in the wine industry. Talking about a major role, today we have someone who is a very close friend of mine. He's an entrepreneur, he is a pioneer in the wine industry, he's a very well known person in the wine faculty, the owner of Wine Information Center. Meet Mr. Vikrant Holkar. Welcome on the show, Vikrant.
Hi.
So, Vikrant, you have spent a very long time in the wine industry. So, tell me something about your journey.
So basically, I come from a family, Holkar family, and so my father, Mr. Kishore Holkar, he started with a winery called Vinsura, and that's how through him, I came into this industry. I got to know about the industry. So I could say since the childhood, I have seen very closely the viticulture side as well, the winemaking, and now the retail and wine education side as well.
Okay. So, your family name, as you said, Holkar, it is involved in the wine industry since a very long time. So, they are into farming, into winery, into association. Tell me something more about it.
So, the current generation is the only generation which is moving towards some associated businesses apart from agriculture. So, even I would say those are mostly agri businesses related only. And the generation previous to us is completely engaged in the farming thing, and our Holkar family would be one of the first farmer families which planted various different types of wine variety grapes, because India is famous for the table varieties.
Right.
But they had experimented a lot, and because any new variety to be experimented, you have to put in some years, and after the failure you'll have to uproot those varieties. Right. And then that's how the varieties which you see now in India are popular, but those were being planted back in the days, and those were being experimented by our family as well. And probably Holkar family is one of the largest wine variety grape grower family here in India, and supplying grapes to all different wineries in India.
Okay. So, does this surname, does it bring in a lot of burden on your shoulders? Like you have to be a very prominent person in the wine industry because of the name?
Not really. I don't see it in that way, because I have my own passion. So even my surname would have been different. So probably my field of interest would be the same.
Okay. And what is your view on Indian wine industry?
So Indian wine industry now is not at the stage where we can say it's a very young industry. We are 2 decades old now, and we are growing, but the pace what we should be growing at is which I see which should be much better. And surprisingly, post COVID, the wine industry has been had a good increase in sales,
right,
in tourism, and prior that was something different.
Okay. So as you have studied and traveled across the world, and you have seen many wine industry around the world, where do you think Indian wine industry stands at the moment?
Okay, so Indian wine industry is doing well, and previously, I mean, when it was at its start, not about only India, I think any country which would have been in its pioneer time, they would have struggled making wines. But as they say that 70% of the wines are made in the field, and we have good quality grape growing region here in India, especially Nasik,
right,
and that helps us to make a good quality grapes. And now, because India is blessed with a lot of good education as well, where students from science background, those are traveling to all different countries,
right,
and studying about wine.
Right.
That wasn't the stage at initial, and now because a lot of people are traveling, coming back to India, becoming good winemakers and understanding the art of making wine. So
right,
Indian wine industry is now up a scale.
It has taken a step ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So WIC, as we also call it as Wine Information Center, is your brainchild. So what is the basic purpose or basic goal of WIC?
So basically, wine is still a misunderstood product here in India. So, for example, if any person want to buy any form of liquor, they go to a wine shop.
Right.
And it's named wine shop. Unfortunately, you probably won't find a wine bottle over there. Even if you do, you might find a popular brand of India. And that's where I thought of like, this is a completely misunderstood product. And I should focus myself on the youth because that's the next generation.
Right.
And also, especially in the youth, I especially concentrated on basically the hotel management students, the students who come from science background, who would easily relate to this product and they would learn about this product and also be the wine promoters for wine industry in future.
Okay. So WIC, under WIC, there are two major factors. One is education and the other one is tourism. So how has it helped the industry altogether and what are the feedbacks that you are getting?
So the feedback from people when they come to WIC is very positive because here they get to learn about the wine. So even here at our counter, we have India's largest Indian wine collection with us and we sell those wines at factory prices. So it is very difficult task for us to handle a customer for about within a minute's time or 5 minutes time. We have to explain them all different types of wines and also the brands, also the price range.
Right.
So it is a very challenging task for us at WIC. But when they come to us and we talk more about the wine and educate them,
right,
it makes much easier for the sales part as well.
Right. And anything new that is coming up in the project for WIC in the recent time?
So new, I would say we would love to have WIC franchisees, for example, in different cities,
okay,
in especially 2-tier cities.
Pan India or across Maharashtra?
Initially Maharashtra, and I definitely would like to take this concept pan India.
Okay.
And because I believe in different, India is one of the largest alcohol consumption country, and people get self-educated about whiskeys and beers.
Right.
But about wine, because there are so many different wineries, so many different names, so many different labels, also for a consumer part, it is difficult for them to understand. So wine selling is more of an experience. So if a consumer comes to a winery, if a consumer comes to a center like this, and then they get a hands-on experience about the wines, they get to taste those wines,
right,
and then it would be an easier decision because a commercial beer would taste similar every year.
Right.
But wines has a different characters every year because of the
viticultural aspect, the grapes that come in, climatic
exactly.
conditions.
So because of that, the wine is different every year.
Right.
So for a consumer, when they come to the store and they will taste the wines, and it makes easier for them to purchase on the purchase.
Right. You are a very neutral person in the wine industry and you promote almost all the brands which are available. What do you think wineries should do to promote wine as well as wine tourism in India?
So I would say pretty much every winery should welcome tourists at their wineries. Initially, most of the wineries which is present in India are production units. So even though if you have a production side of yourself, you can have a small area where you can invite people for wine tastings. Maybe you're not open every day. Maybe you can keep it a weekend thing or maybe a monthly thing. But invite people to your wineries, which is happening all over the world. So a small scale winery will also have a cellar door where people can come and experience the wine making, the history of that particular winery, and have a conversation with the
right,
consumer where you self-upgrade yourself as well.
Right. Time for a bit of a wine gyan. So at WIC, Vikrant has the largest collection of wines at factory prices and all under one roof. And when it comes to taking tours of the students, when he takes them to the winery, he makes sure that he would go along with them to all the wineries, take them along and then explain them also all together. So this shows how much involved and how much dedicated he is in this particular industry, if I'm not wrong.
True.
Okay, one question that I have is, you have a dream of starting up your wine museum. Would you talk something about that?
Yeah, as I earlier mentioned that Indian wine industry has come up to 20 years, 25 years, and it has created its own historical era now.
Right.
So people should know that, like they do know about where and when the wine started and the main old world wine region. even the New World wine region. So people should also understand about how the Indian wine industry started, because starting a winery or wine industry in different countries might be in a completely different scenario,
Right.
and India is a completely different scenario altogether. So that's where I would like people to come and see the history of Indian wine, because museums are all about
History.
knowing the history of particular region,
Right.
and that's where I would like them to know about Indian wine history along with the worldwide history as well.
Right.
So initially it would be a mini wine museum concept, and as per the response grow, I would obviously like to make it at a larger level as well.
Right. You are also a wine educator. What do you think about the quality of wine education presently in India and the institutes which offer wine education in India?
So presently the wine education in India, I don't see it's at a very good level. Even after such a long years, we should have good institutes for wine, especially grape and wine institutes. And even that would be one of my, I would like to start a wine institute as well. See, wine information center would be a first stepping stone. Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, because in this I would understand what the consumer needs are,
Right.
and this is on a wine information center is on a consumer base. An institute would be on an educational students base, and industry will have good quality educated students. And I don't see there are good institutes and dedicated institute for wines.
Okay. There are a lot of fruit wines that are coming up right now in the Indian wine industry. What are your thoughts on fruit wines?
So I think India has a very bright future on fruit wines, especially because we have a good tropical climatic condition, and we have so many different kind of fruits growing in India, and that is not the case in other countries, and that's why they stuck to mostly grapes. So it's not mandatory anywhere that you'll have to make my wines out of grapes only. But because, as I said, we have good quality fruits growing pan India, and this will give employment for the farmers, and also the perishable goods will convert into wines. So good examples are like chiku wines happening, and there are strawberry wines happening. So Indian palate is also young, new, and I believe that fruit wine is a good start for a Indian consumer. Even at WIC, we see good sales on fruit wines, especially with the newer audience,
Okay.
because they're willing to try something which is fresh, easygoing, slightly sweeter on the palate, and that's why I think fruit wine has a good future. And also, I would like the government to support this with the fruit wines, because every region, like Nasik is famous for the grapes, so oranges would be for Nagpur. So in that way, every region will have its own USP of wine along with that fruit.
Okay. But grape wine itself has taken a setback since few years. It is going up. But do you actually think that fruit wine will also take pace and it would come up to the level of grape wines?
Not at the level of grape wines, but yes, it will have its own significant identity in the industry.
Okay. Fine, you have tasted so many wines, you have so many wines across on your store. Pick some of your best wines available in India.
Best as in, I wouldn't segregate them by price wise, because obviously the prices define what quality of grapes you have used,
Right.
what equipments, winemakers. But easygoing good wines, I would say from the house of Vallonne, they have really good wines with them. And also Reveilo, they make good unique wines like
Agreed.
Nere de Vola, and I like those wines as well.
True.
And I would say even the entry level wines are doing good.
So I keep on asking a question usually to pair food with wine. So today I'm going to give you a mutton biryani to
Okay.
pair with any of the wines that you like.
So I would like to pair the mutton biryani with the Merlot, with the
Okay.
red wine,
Okay.
because biryani are with the different styles obviously, but usually biryanis are about the flavors. Similarly, I would like to pair something which goes along with these flavors.
Okay. You are also starting a new venture called as the Indian Wine Traveler, which people don't know about yet. But yeah, soon you will be starting up that venture and you will be exploring different parts of the country as well as the world where wines are being grown and wines are being made. And I believe that South Africa is on your list, on the first list. So tell me something about Indian Wine Traveler.
So, Wine Information Center and Indian Wine Traveler would be my two babies, I would say. So, Wine Information Center is a place where you would come and experience the winemaking and the education and the tourism part. Whereas Indian Wine Traveler would be, I would be going to places and travel around and create a documentary style videos for the Indian audience, mostly for the Indian audience.
Okay.
Obviously, it would be on a larger audience, with a worldwide audience can watch the videos, but it would be more inclined to the Indian audience because I want the Indian audience to get educated about wines and see through the videos how the wines are made around the world.
Okay.
And how those countries have improved themselves year on year by making good quality wines, and how they pair their wines with all different kind of foods.
Okay.
So that would be I would like to document that by visiting different countries, and yeah, that would be the Indian Wine Traveler.
That's a really great initiative for sure.
Also, it will help for the winery aspect as well.
Yeah.
Because the winery owners can also see what is happening around the world, and they can up themselves
Right.
by that way.
Okay. You are a major role in the Indian wine industry. What would you do if you're not in the wine industry?
Okay, this is a very tricky one. So I've never thought of anything apart from the wine thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe I had a childhood dream of having a toy factory.
Okay.
So I would have been into the manufacturing of some
Toys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something very unusual that I have
Yeah.
heard from people. Okay, time for a fun fact. We both are friends since a very long time, and we both have studied and worked together in New Zealand. And one interesting thing is that we are also wine appreciators. What we do in between is that we pick up a bottle of wine, just sit at our houses and then just drink it, talk and discuss about it. That way we also develop our own palate and we keep on judging the wines also. So that way it's a very good thing, a very good connection that we have with each other. Okay, so one last question that I have is, we talked a lot about wines. What is your go-to drink if not wine?
So if not wine, then as like we were in New Zealand, they used to say like, if you have
Yeah.
to make good wines, you drink a lot of beer. So
Okay.
that's why maybe beer or good craft beers, and if not in alcohol, non-alcoholic, a good quality soul curry.
Okay. I've got really different
Yeah.
answers in
Yeah.
this first episode. So stay tuned for more such episode. This was a really interesting one, and there would be few more interesting episodes coming in. We have Vikrant Holkar today. It was interesting chatting with you, Mr. Vikrant. Thank you for having
Thank
us
you.
on the show. Before we go, we have a small little gift for you, which I'll be handing it over to you in a while. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Wine with Shagit on Instagram, YouTube, as well as on Facebook. Thank you so much.